open session. I've received an apology from the Deputy Chairperson and Trevor Clark, Ross Hussey, Michael Copeland and Chris Hazard.
Trevor might be here.
Trevor might be here, okay. Members, agenda item 2, minutes of the meeting of the 30th of April. If members are content, can I sign them into the record? Read. Okay, members, under matters arising, we have correspondence from Playboard at page 11 of your electronic packs. And for those not using the electronic system, it's correspondence from Playboard in relation to the Let Us Play campaign. The letter outlines the work that Playboard does and offers to brief the committee on their Let's Play campaign. But I suppose just for information, members, whilst recognising the work that Playboard do in most of our areas, I don't feel it would be the most effective use of their time to brief the committee on their campaign.
Agreed.
But I do believe it's something that could be discussed with the other statutory committees. So if members are content, I would propose that we write to Playboard, commend them on the work that they do, and that they should contact the appropriate statutory committees to discuss the programme. Agreed?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Members, we have correspondence from Kieran Macaulay, the Chief Executive of the Lyric Theatre, and it's at page 13 in your electronic packs. I'd like to welcome Kieran and your team too to the committee today. Members, the response, as I said, is from Kieran Macaulay of the Lyric Theatre. The correspondence provides further additional information requested following our session that we had with Mr McDowell, Sir George Bain and Mr Cheevers on the 2nd of April. The correspondence provides additional information requested in relation to the adjustments to the tender price and the donation from Patton Group. This correspondence also highlights a typographical error in relation to the date of the minutes of the project board, referred to in our letter. However, it does not provide any further comment on points that the minutes confirm in terms of the issues discussed by members during the session. So, members want to have a look at that if they haven't seen it before now. There are some adjustments. Kieran, maybe do you want to speak?
Just a couple
or
of points.
one of your team, maybe, on yourself.
Suzanne.
On the adjustments.
Yeah, there's a breakdown of one of the big adjustments there, which the committee, of course, had asked for, and we can see that within that there's a bigger design development, 215,000. But that is a bit vague as to what it's in respect of. So I think it's okay as far as it goes. It gives a breakdown, but then we don't have any evidence if there were similar adjustments in the other bids. So it's a bit of further information. I think the second point really was a donation from the Patton Group, and that there's confirmation, yes, that there was a donation there.
But I thought at one stage they alluded to the fact that the donation had come in, and it does come in before the tender process was even commenced.
Yeah.
And I would have thought, under the approach that you want to keep things totally clear on an item, that if you were involved in contributing towards it, it should under some form of rules exclude you from taking part in a tender process, because it puts you in an unfair advantage or position, even though, yes, they're saying that, you know, the NJCC code was all followed correctly, but there's always the perception, and if you...
No, I think you're absolutely right there. In this particular case, the contract negotiations hadn't been concluded, contract hadn't been signed, so that creates the potential for all sorts of perception issues. That would be our view on it. You will recall that when Sir George Bain gave evidence, he he didn't think that was an issue.
No.
But I would beg to differ.
So would I.
Uh-huh.
So would I.
Yeah, Sean and Alex.
Just what is an incorrect programme?
Sorry?
53,000.
53,000 there. Incorrect programme.
Don't know.
It's a catch-all.
We've no idea. We were provided with that breakdown during our audit, but the point for us was that these adjustments were made to the Gilbert Ash tender, but there were no corresponding adjustments made to the other 4 tenders. There was no further detail in the absence of the tendering documentation on what those adjustments actually related specifically to.
I suppose the trail goes what. It's not to say you never can have adjustments, but where there are adjustments, the reason for them need to be documented, and assurance then that the adjustment was done on a level basis across all the bidders. So, and that's where we run into the documentation. No problem.
Yeah, the protocol is that if an adjustment is made, that all tenderers are given an opportunity then to identify similar adjustments to their tenders, but in this case it was just the Gilbert Ash tender that was adjusted.
That's conceivable. There may have been reasons for that, but in the absence of documentation, we can't form a view.
Did indicate at one stage that there had been a sum taken out, but it was to cover scaffolding, which was then reintroduced.
That was a separate adjustment over and above the one in
This.
this letter. Yeah.
So that's over and above, because that was around 400,000. But
413.
yeah,
And that, could we ask for clarification what they mean by an incorrect programme?
Yeah. You can.
And could we?
Yeah.
You
can.
could, as well, you get in the absence of documentation, whether anyone at this remote has an answer to that. No.
that is like the rest of the files destroyed.
Do you think, when it's put down there with over 50,000 accredited to it, that there should be some information somewhere? And in terms of the pre-construction fee, is that an adjustment of 26,000 to the pre-construction fee as a result of the changes in the design? Yeah? Or is that another pre-construction fee?
No, all we know about these adjustments were that these were amounts allegedly incorrectly included in the tender submission originally. We didn't have any documentation to look at those figures in any more detail, but the key point for us was that they were only taken out of one tender submission, that the other 4 tenders were not given the opportunity to make similar adjustments.
So it wasn't just a question, there was no documentation. There was nobody about or nobody there that could even give an explanation.
Alex?
See the donation, I'm just a bit confused. Entry level stars reporter 20,000 to 99,999. Does that mean it could be anywhere between those two figures? Is that
I assume that that's what that means. That Patton wasn't actually the winning contractor. I
Davy
think
Patton, that's correct.
I think the committee had asked at the session if the Lyric Theatre could provide details of any of the other tenderers who provided a donation to the Lyric Theatre. So there was the Patton Group, and then obviously Gilbert Ash, the winning.
How much did he give?
I think it was in the region of £100,000.
It's not without.
That's an awful lot of money for. I know you can't prove anything, but it really stinks. Like, I'm sorry.
All I can say is this is an example of how a contract should never be run. I think this is a case that should actually be put out there. This is
For an example.
make sure you don't fall.
Which, of course, you have said in your own committee's report.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
I
think-
unfortunately missed that session with Sid Madola. Was quite ill that day, but to be honest, I just dearly loved to have been here.
It was a very memorable one for those
We didn't get much out of him, did
I
we?
think he's quite an arrogant individual.
who are
Started off,
I know.
Okay, and just for clarification as well, I think that the last paragraph reflects that a typographical error in relation to the state of the letter in terms of the minutes. I think just that's another point to raise. So I suppose for clarity, I would also like to just inform Mr. Macaulay I'm Mrs. Boyle and not Boyd. Yeah, so obviously Sean has raised a point that he is seeking clarification on agreement with the committee also on the incorrect programme, if we're seeking clarity around that. I think we have the other bits of information that we've been requested.
Yeah.
So we probably as a committee need to make a decision on where we move on from it from here and what we do. But obviously given time today, we probably wouldn't have a time to make that decision, and we don't have all the members present. So if we can defer this 2 weeks, 2 weeks in relation to the outcome of the process thus far. Would members agree to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. 3 weeks? 3 weeks? Oh, we're not meeting, that's right, that's the week of the elections. 3 weeks? Okay. Okay, members, thank you for your indulgence. Moving on, members, page 15 of your electronic packs, you'll find correspondence from Mr. Leo O'Reilly, Permanent Secretary, DOE, in response to our request for an update on the MOR to our report in safeguarding listed buildings. Members, there's quite a bit in this letter. If you want to take a moment to read it and to consider the correspondence, and any members, any comments to make on it? I think it's very straightforward, members. I'm happy to note it anyway if you're happy to note it. But
Yeah, great.
Kieran, you okay with the response from?
Yeah, I think generally it's a very positive response. At the time, the department accepted all 6 of the committee's recommendations. So you can see there on most of them there's been a fair bit of progress on implementation.
Okay, thank you, members. So we agree to note the correspondence. Okay, members, account NI information. We've been copied into an email which was issued to the auditor, Kieran, regarding the press release to accompany our report on account NI. This correspondence and CNAG's response are included in your confidential packs, pages 3 to 7. That's your yellow pack. And given the nature of the correspondence, I propose that we discuss this in closed session. This will enable for the CNAG to comment on the correspondence. Are members content that we defer this until we are in closed session? Is that agreed? Sorry, Suzanne and Eddie. Is that yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Moving on. Given that we're time bound, it's in relation to a debate on an amendment to Standing Order 56.1. Members, we received word this morning, the committee had received word this morning, that a motion has been put forward for debate in plenary this Tuesday, the 13th of May, on the change the committee proposed to Standing Order 56.1 in terms of legal cover. Members, we recall that we exchanged correspondence with the committee on procedures on this issue and had most recently agreed to accept the form of words used to us in this regards. it is proposed amendment, which it is this proposed amendment which will be discussed on Monday. And members, I intend to speak in my capacity as chairperson in support of the motion. Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday. Aye. I believe Trevor, as Deputy Chairperson of the Procedures Committee, will wind on the debate also. Members, I just any other members that want to speak on the debate, and either in your capacity as an MLA or a member of the committee, are quite entitled to do so if they so wish.
What's the wording of the motion?
I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry. I was just only made aware of this also.
I'll have to see what it says.
Well, it's motion amend Standing Order 56.1, proposed leave out Standing Order 56.1 and insert: there shall be a standing committee of the Assembly to be known as the Public Accounts Committee to consider A. accounts laid before the Assembly, B. reports on accounts laid before the Assembly, and C. reports to the Assembly under Article 11 of the Audit Northern Ireland Order 1987. That C is the additional part that's going in there.
When we agreed to the formula of words at the time. Yeah,
It'll not be a very long debate by the looks of things.
I can imagine so. I would, the proposer, myself as chair, and probably the winder, unless
Yeah.
Alex wants to take part in the debate, or anybody else.
I don't see much. There's not much to it. It's really just of a technical nature. Really.
It's fairly technical.
Yeah.
There's actually no import at all on what you actually do. But it's just to make it crystal clear that the committee can look at all the reports from my office, and it's making it explicit. It's not just the reports on the accounts, but it's also those section 11. That's the value for money glossy reports. It's just making that clear. But in practice, you do all of that anyway. So
Just formalising it.
it's formalising what you already do.
How long does it take? What's it doing? We haven't, so we haven't been given a time, and I would imagine it shouldn't last any more than
5 minutes.
30 minutes. It's at 4 o'clock. It's probably the last piece of debate on the plenary, so
Okay.
get you home early on Tuesday evening.
That's good.
Okay, members, account NI. We're going into close now.